All right, all of you wonderful boys and girls, whoever you are, wherever you are from on this beautiful blue marble of a planet. Mark, Centerline Systems, welcome to our live stream on today, Eclipse Ageddon, 8th April. You know, shouldn't make fun of things, knock on wood, nothing actually bad does happen. But hey, here we are. We're going to do our live stream, talking about our Scout bottle carrier. But as always, you know, because the ticker and everything, you know, I don't know if the ticker lies or there's a delay, but I'm going to tell a couple quick little stories and just a little bit of housekeeping for a minute or two, and then we'll jump right into the Scout. Last week, we had somebody asking about swatches. Actually, you know what? These ones might work better. Well, I've got larger swatches and they're hidden in a bin someplace I want to find. So I'm going to hold off on the conversation about the swatches and the different colors. I'm going to hold off until next Thursday to cover that one. Yeah, we got some woos. Yeah, that was already some shit talking going on in the live chat. But I'll do the swatches next Monday, a week from now. Tentatively, and knock on wood again, I don't want to jinx anything. We're going to have a guest coming on for about 5 or 10 minutes this Thursday. Blake from Fog Firearms, talking a little bit about Cerakoting. And then my last little thing I want to do before we jump into the Scout, buying a little time, is I just want to show this off. This is new to me. I just started doing it. Well, I started doing it last year. So you see the date. I water glassed these eggs on 23 November of last year. Well, and I've been eating them still. And I just used a pickling lime. There's a bunch of recipes online. You cannot do this with store-bought eggs. You have to do it with wild eggs, you know, like natural eggs. And so I just had 2 more eggs 2 days ago. These are like 4 months old. They last, you know, up to about 6 months. So just something, you know, super simple to do that you might want to look into, especially if you've got someone in your neighborhood who, you know, has their own chickens, or if you have your own chickens, you probably already know about this, but I'm here to tell you that shit worked. I've been eating those things. The eggs are actually huge compared to like store-bought eggs. And there's no refrigeration or anything. They're on a shelf in a cool, dry place. And it's been, you know, 4 months and they're still awesome. So I really like that. Here, matter of fact, I'm going to bring this up just on that right there. Big Visk, who was, I do believe, maybe first in the chat. Well, at least the first to comment anyway. The Scout carrier, aka a carrier for heathens who hate canteens. Yeah, thanks, Big Visk. But yeah, I raised my own chickens. Yeah, I'm here to be on Thursday. Blake from Fog Firearms. That's where I got the eggs from. They've got their own chickens, and I did a little experiment for everybody, and I'm here to tell you it worked really good. So again, I'll just throw it up there. You can find a million little recipes. It's really easy to find. You know, just Google it. But that's all I'm using is pickling lime, water. There is a little bit of a technique. But other than that, I mean, it's super simple. So, yeah, there you go. I'll just bring you back up there. Yeah, it's worth doing. I mean, you know, if you think about it, and especially if you have enough of your own eggs, or if you've got somebody in your local area, you know, have 3 jars of these. And, you know, once you're, you know your own system better than me. You know, you do you. Like, I don't know the size of your family, how many eggs you eat, but maybe you're putting a dozen. I had 14 eggs in here. I have 6 left. And they've all been awesome. So, you know, figure it out how you want to do it, but it would be a pretty good, easy rotation. You know, here's my jar with this month's eggs, and then so on and so forth. And once you finish that jar, move the next one up into sequence, and then just water glass another batch of them. So pretty cool. All right. Anyway, yeah, okay. No, sorry, this guy, I saw the excess, but now I see what you're saying. Yeah, you usually give them away. Yeah, that's what they did. They've got so many of them. They just gave me a bunch and said, yeah, go off and try this. And hopefully if you don't get sick, we'll try too. All right, jumping into it. This is going to be, you know, a fun live stream. I just have to tell everybody, I mean it seriously, you know, whether you are a customer, whether I've talked to you on the phone, whether you've purchased something, or you just stumbled upon my live streams, and for whatever reason, maybe you drink too much and you think these are good videos, but I really do appreciate it. And, you know, I just love all the back and forth and the commentary. And on that note, but this one's going to be a little bit not short, maybe down and dirty, but I've got a couple little Easter eggs, to use a movie term. I've got some Easter eggs in here for tonight. So we're going to talk about the Scout bottle carrier. I'm not going to show you too much about it because it's pretty obvious what it is, right? You know, I'll show that and I'll break it down, but I actually want to spend a little bit more time just talking about some other items that you may not have considered of putting in the Scout, and maybe some other hydration devices that you're not aware of. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So Scout bottle carrier. So here's the one thing I do want to show off. So it's a circle. So I'm not picking on anybody. We'll do whatever you want. So I don't want what I'm about to say to sound bad. I mean it very seriously. So a gentleman named Brad, he wants me to make a modification, put a belt loop on the back. So there's some other companies that make bottle carriers and there's belt loops on it. Well, that MOLLE strap in the rear kind of is a handle, but it's also could be a belt loop. Now I'm going to make a modification for his, but the only thing I'm really saying here is circles don't match up with flat surfaces very easily. Those other companies that are doing it's because they're making the back of their carrier flat. So their design is just different. It is what it is. I'm just sticking with a straight up circle. You got a drain hole in the bottom. You've got MOLLE attachments on the back. So you can, again, you just saw me, if you were jogging, that'd be a really easy thing to carry. That's just one way of weaving the MOLLE. You can MOLLE it to something else. But, to the point, with the gentleman who wants the belt loop, I'm still going to say, because if here's your only point of contact, that's this, this part, and then down here is going to want to move around. If I put a strap down there, well, then that is something's got to give. Circles have to become flat, or flat has to become more concave or convex. So, but there are, little pieces of shock cord, like the shock cord keepers that we use for the hanging tags. You could run that. You could run an S-beaner. If you don't want this, if you're going to MOLLE this and if the movement around is bugging you a little bit, well, then just use the other attachment points to help secure it to your whatever it is, your person or your rucksack. So that's one thing. So there's MOLLE on the back, can also be used as a hand carry. You got all kinds of different MOLLE attachments, around the rest of the surface. So you can add a folding saw pouch, a knife, another pouch of your choice, whatever knickknack you got going on there. And then before I come up to the front, I'm going to come to the shoulder strap. So you can see, so this is a horizontal carry right now, but I added another buckle there. And so you could easily carry it in a Scout carry. That's actually how we came up with the name Scout water bottle, because when I first did it, I like carrying it in that traditional Scout carry configuration, like if you're thinking a knife. So we wanted to make sure that you could do that. And that's simple. Just unplug one part of the shoulder strap. But I also wanted to point out something. The shoulder strap is the same as what we have on for, anything that we make that has a shoulder strap. You have a shoulder strap with loops up on there. You can either get loops or you can get 1-inch elastic for shotgun shells. But, you can always put your chasm buckle. Yeah, there you go. Up top. Or whatever buckle you have. That's what those loops are there for. So now if you had another device, imagine, well, I don't even know. Let's say it's some gloves or a glass case or something that had a male buckle. You could now just plug it right in there and then just affix it that way. Now it's secured to the shoulder strap. All right, then up to the front. This pocket in the front is almost as large as the main compartment, the big pocket in the G3. It's just a little bit smaller just because of surface area. But so again, a 5x7, a 7x9. I don't know if you can get like a 10 by something sil nylon. I haven't tried that, but a smaller sil nylon tarp, signals kit. I mean, the breakdown, like the nanos, the fire ants, the firebox, the stoves. You can get a lot of gear up in the front. You don't have to run the bikini strap through that. You can. It's just a little retention loop that we put there, but it's another place where you could S-beaner or carabiner your gloves or something else that you were holding. And then, so this is my water bottle, and what I really like. So this is a Yeti, and I don't remember what they say, but this is about 40 ounces. So it's, basically it's like a little over a quart of water. And so I really, if I'm using a bottle, and I'm not going to lie, this is my everyday just walking around or going places kind of carry. So that fits in here, and I just wanted to show that off. So this is a rather large, water bottle. And it fits in there, and you can see there's not a lot of slack in there, but there's room. So when we made this, the difficulty is like, are you running this, or are you running this, or are you running one of these? Like there's so many different versions and options out there. We're trying to I don't want to say thread the needle, but hey, here's kind of the min and here's kind of the max, and it can fit everything in between. In that bikini strap. So depending on the type of handle, you can either run it through the handle or just twist it and then split the bikini strap around the shoulder or the neck of your device, and then run it up to the front and secure it that way. Depends, if your bottle has, if it's a straight up bottle or if it's more rounded, kind of like here's like a Nalgene that's got a little bit of a shoulder on it. So you might want to do that a little differently. So it'll fit a whole bunch of different bottles. Again, this is, basically, a quart of water. And I'm going to show you a couple other ways to carry some other things or some other items that you might want to put in there. But let me just see if we've got any comments here that I need to address. It says I do. All right, so here we got so far, Gene from across the pond. Woo! I would rather carry Scout style, even on top of a butt pack. Yeah, I agree with you. I just like the Scout, especially for this, for a bottle. I don't like, my canteen is running vertically, but on my, again, a water bottle, I like it that. I think the weight distribution is a little bit better. That's me personally. And then can you store a GSI cup in the bottom without fighting getting it in and out? So Elf, again, and thank you. Oh, good to see you too. Yes, the answer to that is yeah. I'm going to take the shoulder strap off without it poking out my eye. Yeah, that's a good buckle. That's ITW Nexus. Jiminy Christmas. All right. Let's get this the hell out of the way. All right. So to that note, matter of fact, I'm going to show you a couple different. So you were just asking GSI, right? So I'll show that stuff in a second, but I think I'm going to jump forward to. This is the Max. So this is a growler. Now, I don't know where you live, what your state is. Growlers became a thing, I guess, maybe like 4 years ago. And I know these are kind of big. This is a place here in the Duluth area, Bent Paddle. This is 64 ounces. And I just want to show it'll fit. But my recommendation is if you have anything in the main pocket, take that out because you're going to see. So we made it the largest size when we made it was going to be a 64 ounce growler. So you'll kind of get a that rubberized material on the inside can make it just a little sticky at the very beginning. And that's why I'm saying don't have anything in the pocket until you get this inside of the Scout. And of course, like always, when I'm doing it on a live stream, it wants to be difficult. But so there you go. That fits in there. That's the Max. 64 ounce. This is a clean canteen. Yeti makes one as well, and my cousin has that. I know that fits. We put that in here too. So, if you got a question, maybe just reach out and ask me, but it'll fit up to one of these giant 64 ounce growlers. And I know there's a bunch of other water bottles out there now that are like even larger than this. Well, at that point, right here, and then if you see it, it came out better than it went in. And that's because it still has that same rubberized material in there. So it's providing a little bit of security, not security, but a little bit of a backup for the Kadura. Gives you a little bit of insulation. It's easy to clean if it's all dirty inside there, and you're using something that's wet. Maybe it's wet and muddy, so you got a bunch of debris and crap in there. So it's easy to get that out. So just kind of throwing that out there. This is a clean canteen, 64 ounce. The studio lights might be kind of blocking that, but you can see it right there. All right, now let's get over to Al's question. So here. This is a little Nalgene stainless GSI cup, right? So you can either put it in and see again. So depending on the device you're using or the bottle that you're using. So to your point, so right there, the GSI stayed in the bottom, didn't have to fight it. I can get it in, get it out. You cheeky bastards. All right, if anyone's laughing at what I just said. And then the canteen, or then the cup's still in there. And then that's just a simple thing of just reaching in there and just pulling it out. But so to your point, Alf, I hope that answered. So easy to get in by itself, easy to get out by itself. And then, but what's nice, but I think this is going to depend on what type of bottle that you're putting in here for this GSI and for this Nalgene, that fits perfect. Here, let's just do another one. Here's a different Nalgene. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, easy in, easy out. You're not fighting through the cup. I do like this this Nalgene one just simply because of how huge, that's just a really large opening. So throwing ice cubes in there or mixing up and whatever you're doing, it's pretty simple to do. So that's just another example of what can fit. I'm going to have to figure out how some room here. Bear with me a second. Matter of fact, let's have a sip. of water right now. Al, so I don't see any comments, but does that answer your question right there? I mean, you just kind of saw how easy it went in. All right, so moving on. Let me get this guy over here. So just another example. So again, you're going to see a couple different water bottles right now and with different nesting cups. I think, once you understand that if this ginormous thing fits in there, chances are your bottle's going to fit in there. So where I'm really kind of going now is I just kind of want to open it up to some questions about different hydration, different bottles that are out there. I really love my heavy cover canteen, not my Keith, my heavy cover canteen. They're the ones who made that stuff. Well, I'll save that for another conversation, but I love my heavy cover canteen, and the cup and everything that comes with it. Titanium, throw it in the fire. It's so simple. A lot of the stainless, and I'm sure you guys are all saying the same thing. Well, you're not going to do it with a plastic bottle or a stainless bottle. So, you're looking for either a stainless or a titanium nesting cup, because then you're not as worried about, putting this in the fire and just heating up your coffee. But the one thing I want to point out, because this just came up in a conversation last week with a customer. So I don't know, obviously, I barely know what I can even, I don't even know what's still up here in this, brain housing group, but I don't know all the products out there. And apparently Grail has a new Grail. I have not seen it. I'm unaware of it. This is one of their older ones. This is the GeoPress. I bought this a long time ago just to make sure it works. So when you get into your, and I'm just going to be clear about this. I'm not dogging any company. You do you, right? And every tool, these things are tools, and every tool does some jobs better than others. And maybe it's not as good at some, but it just is, right? All right. Learn me something. Received a scout last week. Absolutely love it. All right. Really. Thank you very much. Learn me something. So here's all I'm just going to point out here is, you do you. So the Grail, there's a new version of the Grail out there, and unless it's larger than that growler, it'll fit, right? Because this Grail fits in there. Well, here's even a skinny Katadine. So if that fits in there, imagine, I'm sure somebody right now is like, how many beers can I put in there? That's a damn good question. But you can see it fits in there, and then that bikini strap is the way it is, so it can go over and help hold it in place if it's a super narrow or skinnier type of bottle. But what I really just wanted to kind of point out and illustrate are, so we've got the Grail. It's a press full of water. You press the filter down in there. That's filtering the water. And then you've got your clean water up on top that you can drink. If you're on the move and on the go, you might just want to barely take the time. And I mean this seriously. If you're through hiking and if you've got a plan and you're trying to do something, or you just need to stay mobile, and you don't want to take the couple seconds that it's going to take for your Grail, right? Your press, you might want to look at some of these other versions. Katadine makes, there's a bunch of them, but Nalgene, where you can just go right up to that mud puddle or that creek as you're passing by, fill it up. And then because of the filtration system is already built in it, you're drinking through the filtration. So there's no additional work. Just something to consider, and a lot of these things are really cool because, you got a little spot for a beaner. You could even just have this up on a shoulder strap, and then just take your drink whenever you need to, use an S beaner, use some extra webbing, whatever, have it kind of dangle, put it on the Scout and wear it slightly different, and then just come up and drink out of it. And then all you have to do is fill it, go to the stream, fill up, and then you can drink immediately without having to go through the press. The only point I'm going to say, so again, I'm not espousing one or the other. I'm just going to say, though, don't be surprised if you don't do maintenance on your filters or replace your filters. I mean, this is going to get gummed up. This is going to get gummed up. That's going to, can you see the filter in there? Yeah, that's going to get gummed up, especially if you're doing some pretty, questionable water sources. That they're going to get gummed up. So you got to, rinse them out, keep them clean. If you want to extend the life span of your product, well, you got to do maintenance on it. It's just as plain and simple as that. Let me take a quick little break and see what we got here for comments, questions. Here's one that I already like. How many beers? Yep, that was my question about the gun bag, the SRDP. I haven't field tested that for beers yet, and but off the top of my head, it's going to be quite a few. All right. Now we've got Gene. He's talking about the Grail. And so is Learn Me Something. I'll bring up both your guys' points. The Grail. Okay, the titanium Grail. That's what I forgot. Yeah, they have a new titanium one. Thank you, Gene. It's a bit smaller, but not much. Okay, thank you very much. All right, perfect. So yeah, so if your standard, and this one does work, the standard grail works, then that titanium grail is going to work too. Then we got Learn Me Something kind of chiming in. Yep, if the titanium, yes, sir. Yeah, so it's smaller than the original. I mean, you both just said it. I actually thought it was larger, but okay. And then Visk, we got, of course, got to throw up there at least 40. I probably I haven't tested it, but something tells me you're gonna get a couple 12ers in there, sir. Yes, indeed, you'll get a couple 12ers in the SRDP. Hey, so on that, we're at 20 minutes. Before I go into some of these other issues, let me just take a quick break here, and I'll just give you a little data dump, a little inside baseball for those of you who are here live. So the SRDP, we just did our timing runs. I'm doing my cost of goods. That will probably be on the website, and I got him over to Alex Messenger from Messenger Photography. Great guy, great photos, and I'll at least have one photo by the end of the week. So by the end of this week, I'll have the SRDP up on the website. I just kind of got to do my final cost of goods, figure out what we're going to be able to, what it costs us to make, what, it's going to sell for. And then we'll get a picture and then we'll get it up on the website. And, I didn't plan to say this during this live stream, but I'm just going to do it right now on that note. Look, it's probably the worst thing that I should ever talk about as a business, but I haven't raised my prices in 2 years. And I know that right now somebody's saying, oh, here we go, whiny little business owner. If you know anything about economics, you know where I'm coming from. And that kind of commentary is just, it's just silly and naive. I'm going to have to raise my prices. I haven't raised my prices in almost 2 years. We're probably looking at prices going up in May 15th. So I'll talk more about that later, but that's just one other little thing. But now let's do something fun, because I had a lot of people who've been, I mistakenly put the little page holder assault ruck on the website, and I've been, some of the comments aren't even that nice. Like, hey, if it's on the website, how come it isn't bleep available right now? Well, because we're still prototyping. I can't take your guys' place in line. I've got to fit this in, and it's just not that easy. This isn't some cheap ass shit made in China. But here we go. For all of you live stream viewers, a sneak peek. And I'm just going to, it's not quite ready. And I still got to pair it up with the skeleton chassis. And I'll explain more about that in the future. But I'll give you just a sneak peek, because some people have been asking, and it's going to be fast. And don't ask me any more questions about it until I'm ready to put it on the website. But here we go. I stuffed it up with some stuff so you get a sense of proportion. I threw a couple mothers on the outside. There's one on that side. There's one on this side. There's an axe sleeve or a shovel sleeve that's going to be in here. There's up on the top, you'll be able to attach, like, imagine a tarp or a jacket that you want to swing down. And then on the bottom, yeah, you can kind of see it. There's going to be molly, so you can affix a G3 or put your tarp down there. A couple different carrying configurations and some other stuff coming on. So, but this is kind of, I'm going to hold that up there so you can see it. So this is a mother with a mud flap on it. So, the mud flap has to go on a certain way, and that's just all there is to it, right? That's the way that we can come up with that. But when you have the mud flap on the mother, you lose the first row of the molly. And so I'll just do it one more time. So it's going to end up kicking it out just a little bit, right? There we go. So you kind of see how that's not, so this one nice and flush, all molly on that side. And then that one, it kicks out just a little bit. So, but if you're out there doing this kind of stuff and you're running a system like that, so again, that doesn't have to be mothers on the outside. That's folding saw pouches, your own pouches, all kinds of other gear. But, if you're running the mud flap, you do lose the top row of molly. Just throwing that out there for everybody. Again, just so I don't get too much hate. Let's see what we got here. Holy mother, that's nice. Hang on, I want to go back a second here. Just some comments I missed. How many beers? I haven't even had. Okay, we already did that. Yeah. So I was just going to say I haven't even had a beer yet. Yeah, everything's gone up. You got to stay in business. I mean, if you've watched in my videos, you've heard me make the comment, like, if I was ever on Shark Tank and I had to open up my books, they'd just like laugh at me. So, but you're absolutely right. But I get it. It's the same for everybody. So You know, I've been fighting and trying to hold that off as long as I possibly could, but I just don't see things getting any better. So, I mean, I'm just unfortunately almost got no choice. But moving on past that negativity right there, Alf, if you have a dehydrator and use a water filter, you can clean your filter and dry it overnight and dehydrate. I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, just like a little dehydrator, or if you have a an air fryer, not an air fryer. What am I talking about? Yeah, there's a couple other devices that have dehydration capabilities. Yeah, you know, and if your filter's already getting shot, well, why not just try it and figure it out? Because if your filter is almost dead, but you do it and you can bring it back to life, as Alpha is pointing out, well, then you just extended the lifespan of that filter. And if it messes it up, well, you already thought the filter was dead anyway. So yeah, good point. Thank you very much. That's actually pretty cool. We got that right there. Gene, I need to talk to you separately about that camel pattern. I'm working on it. Don't think I've forgotten about you. I'll send you an email on that at M81. And then we got, excuse me, Big Visc that fits. And it's going to fit very well with whoever's gear you have. And you know, and I don't know if you kind of saw from the shape. So it's larger than the one I originally made for my Thor system. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of took a little bit of a, you know, like if you watched like the animated Star Wars, which are actually really good, right? You know, like the original series, the Clone Wars, it almost kind of looks like a little bit like what the Stormtrooper little ruck is that's attached to their armor. So just a little, I know it sounds stupid, but that's kind of where a little bit of it came from. It's like, dude, it's a little bit squared off. It, you know, it's kind of neat. And then here we got another question. Warlike, do you do requests for a new custom piece of gear? You know, hit me up via email. The answer is depends. I don't want to make it sound like I'm punting. It just depends. And I'll just be honest about this. I've had lots of people. We've been in business now, what, 8 years. I've had a lot. We've made a lot of custom gear for law enforcement and for individuals and military. But a lot of on the individual side, a lot of people think that all that R&D and all the material and stuff should be free. Like, you know, well, like I wanted you to make this for me. And why does it cost more than $40? Because it took us 4 days to figure out how to make this. And, you know, yeah. So not poo-pooing it. I think just, you know, shoot me an email and let's set up a time and let's do a phone call. And, you know, and I'll tell you right now, I will only want to hear a little bit about the product or your project. Because if you've got a great idea, then you really should be doing a non-disclosure with whomever you're reaching out to, right? And I'm not going to screw you over, but in today's day and age, don't divulge too much because somebody is so quick. I was hesitant to even show off that because somebody right now is pissed off and like, oh, we've got to hurry up and beat him to the punch. So, all right. And then Gene, send the bill. All right. And then last one, then we're going to move on. Big Visc. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You know, I like it. All right. So here we go. Kind of moving into the last part of the hydration. So just some other little things. So we kind of talked about, hey, there's all kinds of great bottles out there that if you're really concerned about your water source, you know, whether it's the Grail or, you know, this is an Nalgene or a Katadine, there's some options out there. You know, if you don't, you know, you can always boil it and stuff like that. Or, you know, but I remember the day as a kid, we were drinking out of rivers and streams all the time. So, I mean, whatever. But here's my next point is, so if you've got your water bottle, right? And then, so here's another GSI. So there's a couple different things you can think of. Like, so if and I'll show you more what I'm talking about here in a second. If I do this to a water bottle, chances are I'm not going to be able to get it into a cup if I want to do a nesting cup. Now this will fit into the Scout by itself, and I'll go over that in a second. But if I still want my nesting cup, look, I'm here to tell you what I'm just trying to get at is there's so many other little devices and pieces of equipment that you might want to have with you out in the woods. 100-mile-an-hour tape. I can't tell you how many times a finger or something's been smashed and you just tape it together and you suck it up buttercup until you know, 7 days later you see a medic and it's all gangrenous and, you know, and you got to have some scotch or something to cut it off. But tape, right? Tape is one thing you can do. And if you're going to do it with a nesting cup, obviously put it in, maybe make a mark, and you know that you can't go below this certain level on your bottle. And then that could be all tape. And then going over to this, you know, this is, actually, I'm not even 100% sure what I have under here. I can feel something right here. I think I've got a bunch of fishing material and I've got 550 cord. So I took that, I wrapped it around, Oh, and I totally have screwed everybody over. I apologize. So the one thing I want to say is if you take tape, when you're starting off with tape and you're going over another item, that tape is going to leave a tape residue. Take another piece of tape that's going to allow you to cover what it is that the tape is going to go around. Take a piece of tape that length, match it up so it's sticky to sticky. And then, so like on the back side of this, there's no sticky tape on my 550 quarter, my fishing line. You know, I started that whole thing off, covered that up, and then I went tape over it. I hope that makes sense. If you guys want to see me do that in a different video, it's really simple again. So just have sticky to sticky. You know, we used to do this with ropes, you know, and then you can just have just enough so it gets going over the rope, and then the sticky starts picking up, and then it's just sticky stuff over it. But your water bottle is a great device to store some of your other items, right? Again, maybe you want to keep your main pocket free for I'm bound and determined to get smacked by these plastics tonight. But maybe you want this full of lickies and chewies, or your fire kit, or your signals kit. Well, and then all of your stuff for setting up, or for just no shit. If something weird happens, I've got a whole bunch of 550 cord, a whole bunch of 100-mile-an-hour tape, maybe some fishing lures, or, you know, or whatever else. So you can turn this into an even more robust product. And I'm serious, that thing is going to bite me. You know, and that is still fits inside of the Scout perfectly. So I just wanted to point that out. That's just a little, you know, TTP, just a little something that you can try. Get some of this stuff out of the way. And then for some of you, so I have 2 of these Hydra packs, and I'm not going to lie, I really like these when I'm doing car camping. I've got a huge one that I can use for rinsing off all my plates. You can use it, you know, like it's out on the side of your vehicle, it's getting sun, you can shower with it. You know, they've got all kinds of attachments, like, you know, like a Camelback drinking straw, one, like I just said, for like washing. You know, there's another one for, like, you know, doing a shower. It's got a really cool little system. I've not had them leak out of the top yet. So this guy comes off, the other thing plugs in and it snaps in place. Hydro flask. So this is, what is this one right here? Wow. So this is, yeah, this is 2 liters right here. Now you might want to fill it here, just so you know I'm not lying. You know, sometimes I put it in, so I carry the large one in my burrito, my CFSE, and I'll put that in the burrito and fill it up inside the burrito. It just expands and kind of conforms to the shape a little better. But the smaller one, hey, for Big Visk and everybody else, this could be full of wine, right? Or gin. You know, I think Gene likes vodka or gin, but you could fill this full of all your booze, and there you go, right? So that's just something you might want to think of. Hydro Flask. They make some pretty cool products. I've got 2 of them. I don't use them a whole lot. Like I said, these are more of my truck camping devices, but they're pretty damn cool, and they really come in handy if you know you're going to be static and set up and at that location for a bit. Just 2 other last things. See, I had so much crap on the table. I'm like reaching way out here. Green bottles for your propane, just to give you some sizes, some ideas, right? Green bottle propane, you know, just if you want to, you know, like, hey, maybe you've got, this is just how you carry your extra spare bottle. Yeah, just throwing it out there. You do you. Okay. That's another thing that fits. Now, and so I really do like this. So I've got 3 of these things. I've got one in my, like, you know, vehicle kit, you know, and I've got one that I use, and then I've got a second or a third one. 2 is 1. So I guess 3 is, you know, 2 is 1, 1 is none. So I don't know what that makes 3, but I will just say this, and I'm going to kind of leave it set up so you can see what I'm talking about. When the sleeve is on, that outer sleeve, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to fit in there. So what I do is I'll take that sleeve off, and then I'll just put the sleeve in the main pocket. So if you're into these guys, these jet boils, which I'm here to tell, I really do like these as a little camp stove, but because it's a neoprene outer, and it's, you know, and it's got its own handle, and it just snags up a little bit, right? So I take that off, but you don't want to lose it, because what's cool about that is, if you can see, if you're not familiar with these things, that, yeah, right over here, this actually starts turning yellow and orange to red as it gets hot inside. I don't know, they're just really cool devices. I really like them. All right, what are we at? 34 minutes. I went a little bit long. That's because you guys and gals are so awesome. And here we go. So Gene, I think Big Visk is inviting you to a scotch or a bourbon. All right. I'll give it a second, see if anybody's got any other questions or comments, but that's kind of it for tonight. The Scout bottle carrier, just like anything, it's more than a bottle carrier, right? You can use it for a wide variety of items, even your favorite adult beverages if you want. Other non-traditional devices can still fit in there. The giant growlers, that's the max though, 64-ounce growler. Again, this is a clean canteen. Yeti makes one as well. And then just think through, if you've got the time or the resources, and if you can do it, do you want to boil? Do you want to just scoop and drink? If you got the time, I mean, this is pretty handy. I've used this a bunch of times, but I've never really run it through its paces. So I don't really know how long the filter lasts as compared to Nalgene. And I'm not trying to make a comparison video here anyway. But you get the point. But, and then Katadyn, another just on the go filtration system. And if anyone knows what a rope unit is out there, I was familiar and aware of this stuff back in the day when I was still doing cool guy stuff. I haven't seen it on the market, so I don't know if it's out there, but there's these bags and they've got, like electrolytes and stuff in there, but it works through reverse osmosis. And you could just throw that into a puddle, do your op order, and then it fills up and it's already filtered and it's already in with your electrolytes or whatever was in the packet at the time. And then you can just drink through it. I would be very curious to see if those things are out there right now, or if that was some super secret ninja shit I wasn't supposed to talk about. Well, I just did. And then the last thing is, hey, if you got somebody in your neighborhood who has chickens, go get some natural chickens. You cannot do it with store-bought eggs, right? Because that's all whitewashed and the natural coating on the egg has been removed. But with natural, no joke eggs and this and a nice sized jar, no refrigeration necessary, right? So, all right. And what do we got here? I'll read a couple little comments and then we'll wrap it up. We got Elf. 1, 2, 3, a GSI fits. Yeah. So again, I don't know what that SVEA or SVIA 1, 2, 3 stove is. I've not seen it. Fits over that. Yeah. Okay. So perfect fit in the carry. Yeah. So if that nestles or marries up with a GSI, those cups that, again, these are the standard GSIs. I know you know what I'm talking about here. So yeah. And the bales. So, sometimes, and what I like about this is their bales are pretty flush, right? If you can see some products out there, their bales are it's way the hell out there. And that can cause a little bit of an issue. Not so much on the Scout because the Scout's kind of built a little bit over large, again, all the way up to the 64-ounce. But you got to be conscious of that as well. If you've got really large protruding bales, and that's another reason why we use that rubberized material in there, because that, those bales could, cause a tear or an abrasion, something like that. Okay. And then we've got, all right. Thank you, Warlike. Gotcha. I'll take a look at that. Hey, Warlike, if you're okay with it, I might just even give you a call after this live stream, but it's been a doozy of a day. Thank God it didn't turn into zombie apocalypse and Armageddon or whatever the hell it is, but there was some strange things going on because of an eclipse today. I don't know. I guess the day isn't done, so I shouldn't jinx us. But yeah, so Warlike, I don't know. Maybe we'll touch base, or maybe we'll just touch base tomorrow. And then Elf, never store your filter wet. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yep. To help get that out. Yeah. Or you can I usually just hang mine and let it drip dry if you got the time, but that dehydrator is a great idea for that, Elf. I really appreciate that, sir. All right, boys and girls, this one went a little long. I'm going to just take another minute of time. So next Thursday, or correction, this Thursday, the heck is that? The 11th. Yep. On the 11th, right now, tentatively, we'll be joined by a guest, Blake from Fog Firearms. He's going to be talking about Cerakoting and why Cerakoting versus Duracoat, talking through a bunch of his wares. Hopefully he'll show us awesome stuff. We'll have him on this Thursday. And I guess that's really it. We'll just see you this Thursday at, okay, sorry. Understood, living that life. I'm good. Okay, thanks, Warlike. And then Dave Isn't Funny made an appearance here at the very end. Utility pouch fits well on the side if you need more storage. Yeah, so that's, I guess, the last little plug. That's why we have all that webbing on there. Whether it's one of our pouches or somebody else's pouch, you might want to carry more stuff. So, right, you know, but it's a scout, it's a minimalist thing, right? It's not that assault pack I showed off, right? And if you missed that, go back and watch on demand. All right, boys and girls, I think that wraps it up. Hopefully we'll have a special guest on Thursday. I'm not sure if Thursday is going to be our Gap pouch and Babs. Actually, it is going to be. I'll do Gap pouch and Babs on this Thursday. That'll be the topic for this Thursday. Our Gap stands for gear, ammo, and pokey bait. And Babs, I don't know. It just Babs. It somehow got called Babs. So it just sometimes names stick, right? You know, it doesn't always have to be one of my, you know, stupid brain acronyms. So just Babs. But we'll cover that on Thursday. Special guest talking about Cerakote and maybe some gun stuff. If you guys got any of that kind of questions, we'll see you on Thursday. I think that kind of covers it. We're at 40 minutes, a little bit long. I apologize, but it was lots of fun. You got to see some, you know, sneak peek inside baseball type of stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks to everybody who's leaving comments. And you know the deal. Reach out anytime, except Gene at 3 a.m, sir. Not 3 a.m. Central Time. Reach out anytime, though. Seriously, I will do the best I can to help you out. And as always, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good.